All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So we've talked a lot about rounds 1 and 2 and even round 3, but in this one, I wanted to try to shine some light on some later round prospects, guys that I feel like could be draft sleepers, if you will. But before we jump in, let me know down below in the comment section, guys, that you have your eye on. Who are some prospects maybe that'll go in rounds 4, 5, 6, or 7, or in some cases undrafted, that you think could be a draft sleeper and be not necessarily like a top 5 player at his position at the next level, but just a guy who will make a name for himself. So with that being said, let's jump in. So player number 1 on this list is a wide receiver from Auburn, Anthony Schwartz, 6 foot, 185 pounds. Anthony Schwartz was definitely one of the most exciting players in the SEC. I mean, this is a versatile chess piece on offense. He can hurt you down the field. He has incredible blazing fast speed. He works really good in open space, right? Just open field, just moving around with the football. You could send him on jet sweeps, end arounds. Just a guy that can line up all over. He's kind of that Swiss Army knife style of wide receiver, so he fits the system. He kind of fits the mold of the Deebo Samuels of the world, the Brandon Ayuks of the world, much like we've seen in San Francisco. Just shorter, shiftier players that do really well with the football in their hands. But I think what sets Schwartz apart from the current roster, Denzel Mims, Keelan Cole, Jamison Crowder, and Corey Davis, of course, is his ability to dominate down the field, right? Just to burst past cornerbacks and really hurt you 40, 50 yards down the field as a legitimate deep threat. I feel like the Jets roster right now is looking really good at the wide receiver position, but it's not perfect. I'm not asking, or I'm not looking for the Jets offensive weapons or the Jets wide receiving room to mirror a team like the Kansas City Chiefs or the Tampa Bay Bucks. But I do feel like we are lacking that down the field threat, just that burner, like Deshaun Jackson back in Philly or Tyreek Hill with the Kansas City Chiefs, a guy who can really take the top off of a defense. And again, I really like the wide receiving room as is, but I do feel like that down the field threat is that missing piece. Next up, cornerback from San Diego State, Darren Hall, 6 foot, 185, 190 pounds. Darren Hall's extremely versatile. I mean, this is a guy who's played outside corner, slot corner, and even lined up at safety. He had an awesome Senior Bowl week as well, where he was turning some heads. You look at what he does in zone coverage, he excels. That's probably his number one trait, his number one skill, just as a draft prospect, production in zone coverage. Luckily for the New York Jets, we have Robert Saleh coming over with a defensive scheme that's so heavily reliant on zone. So we have that little plus there. And then we're taking a look at the Jets roster. A bunch of unproven guys at corner. Bryce Hall, big upside. I like the size. I like the fit. Just unproven. Same deal with Blesian Austin. Like the upside, like the size, like the fit. Just unproven. We're looking at the safety spot. LaMarcus Joyner, fantastic. I love that signing, but it was a 1-year contract. What's the plan after? What's the plan in 2022? Marcus May, we franchise tagged him. That's awesome. We haven't really, there's been nothing there as far as a re-sign, right? That multi-year extension. I'm expecting it to come at some point, but as we stand right now, a week and a half from the draft, we don't know. We don't know 1,000%. We are 100% confident that he's going to be back for years on end. I'd like to think that would be the case, but we don't know. The ink is not on the paper. So Darren Hall could be an option. Next up, one of my favorite players in the entire draft, a guy who I feel like does not get enough credit. Center from Kentucky, Drake Jackson, 6'2", 310. I've talked a lot about him before in the past, so I apologize if I sound redundant here, but man, you want to talk about a perfect scheme fit, a perfect system fit for what Mike LaFleur wants to do on offense. Look at what Jackson did in college, 4 years. He was a consistent starter for 4 years, 4 years of production, 4 years of being a staple on the Wildcats offensive line, 4 years playing in a zone blocking attack. His best overall trait, run blocking. He gets to the second level really well. He's athletic. He has quick feet. I would say the only drawbacks with Jackson, pass protection, which by the way he's not horrible at. It's just not a strength, but it's not a glaring weakness where it's definitely going to be a liability at the next level. And probably upside, there's really not this humongous upside where Drake Jackson's going to be coming in and like, oh my god, he has the potential to be like a top 3 center for the next 10 years. But that's why he's being talked about going in rounds 4 through 7 here. All right, so I think Jackson could be a steal. He could be a building block for the New York Jets. Maybe a guy that doesn't really possess the highest of ceilings, but he has a really high floor where he's going to come in and produce every single year. Might not put up the best overall numbers, might not make the Pro Bowl year in, year out, but He's going to be consistent, he's going to be reliable, and he dominates in the run game. Next up, pass rusher, defensive end, linebacker Jordan Smith from UAB. Insane size at 6'6", 255 pounds. You go back and you look at the production in 2019 where he had 4 forced fumbles and 10 sacks. Jordan Smith is long, he's athletic, he's rangy, he gets after passers, he plays with a little bit of a mean streak. And when you're looking at the Jets roster, we brought in Carl Lawson, that's fantastic. I love Quinnen Williams on the interior, same with Sheldon Rankins. I think those guys will do some damage. But that other edge position is kind of up in the air. Now, of course, we can still maybe address that position through free agency, bring in a guy. But I feel like right now, if Jordan Smith's on the board, not only does he just provide, pass rushing skills, but he could also drop back in coverage. You can line him up as a stand-up linebacker. So overall, huge upside, great size, great athletic ability. Production in 2019, it kind of dipped in 2020, not tremendously. It's not like he was horrendous, or he didn't have a fall off like a Sean Wade where he's like a first round lock and now he's being talked about going in round 3 or 4. Nothing like that. But at the end of the day, personally, when I'm looking at the later rounds, 4, 5, 6, and 7, I like taking chances on boom or bust style of prospects. Yes, they might have a really low floor and they might flame out after year 1, but their upside is humongous. The ceiling is huge and they have the potential to be great. You never know if you're going to be drafting the next Robert Mathis. You never know if you're going to be drafting the next Jared Allen. We're talking about pass rushers here. So I think with Jordan Smith, the pros outweigh the cons. And last but not least, cornerback from Appalachian State, Shamar Jean-Charles, 5'10", 190. This was a player who, in 11 games, had 16 pass deflections, 1 interception, and 35 total tackles. One of the best cornerbacks in the Sun Belt. I think his game translates more to the slot, right? With the New York Jets, we haven't really addressed that position at all. K'Wan Williams off the board, unavailable. Brian Poole still out there. They've shown no urgency to bring him back. They've shown no urgency with the slot cornerback position at all. So if we're looking at rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7 here, if you can get a potential starting slot cornerback in those rounds, you've struck gold, right? That's a slam dunk. He's a versatile player. He's played all over the secondary, outside, inside. I really like his aggressiveness in which he plays with. He's not going to back down. He's not afraid to tackle. He's not afraid of contact. Really gets his hand in there and sticks with his wide receivers. So all in all, these are 5 players that I feel like could be draft sleepers. They could pay out. And this is, of course, more tailored towards the Jets. There's tons and tons of prospects out there that I really, really like. But I feel like with these 5, they all fit. They fit what the Jets want to do. They fit team needs as well. And they're also great scheme fits, right? Just schematic fits that I feel like would come in and pick up the system easily just based off of their, a ton of different things, right? Whether it's, college systems, size, athleticism, all that good stuff. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And again, who are some draft sleepers that you have your eye on? I can't wait to hear them. I love talking about this stuff. So thanks so much for watching. And as always, go Jets.